Hello and welcome once again. This is Weapons Left, bringing you yet another audio commentary, this time from the Estars Seoul StarCraft Heritage Tournament. This game was played on July the 13th, and I am very excited about it. This is going to be Tossgirl against NC Yellow. For those of you who do not know, I know a fair number of you are highly anticipating this tournament, and that there's no introduction. However, for those of you that don't know, basically the Estars Heritage Seoul Tournament is basically all of the best currently still active StarCraft players that really put this game and esports in general on the map. We're talking about most of the old school greats. Kingdom is in this tournament, Savior is in this tournament, NC Yellow is in this tournament, Nada. I love Ooh, Boxer. This is tremendous. I mean, the person that came up with this really should be thanked in whatever possible way, monetarily, maybe a title of some sort, give him some control over a province, I don't know, but this is just the greatest idea that anybody has had for a tournament in quite some time, and I'm pumped for every single game, and the one that we have today, at least the first one that I'm going to be doing, is going to be Tossgirl versus Yellow. So, Yellow, obviously the Zerg player, who really was one of the first prominent Zerg players that was really dominant before you had guys like Savior hit the scene. And then Tossgirl, who is Tossgirl. I mean, she's undoubtedly the best female player ever, but she's obviously faced a lot of opposition, a strong opposition to her advancement in the individual leagues and star leagues once she's been playing male competition. And despite that, she does hold wins over a lot of some of these old school players. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not she's going to be able to produce in this tournament. I'm curious. You just never know with her. So this matchup is going to be played on Destination. It looks like we have the Yellow starting as the Yellow Zerg. I always love it when that happens at the 11 o'clock position. And Tossgirl is going to be the green Terran, who's playing at the 5 o'clock position. So, on Destination, which is actually a relatively balanced map, I feel as though there is no distinct map advantage for either player, though I must say that I like the way Terran plays on this map. I think that Terran can safely expand relatively early on, which is a huge deal, especially with those defendable bridges being the only entrance to the base. So, when you have a situation like that for Terran where you can bottleneck or keep basically... That's very rare to see a young little white guy in the audience. That's actually pretty interesting. But anyway, when you're in a situation where you can block off entrances to your expansion as easily as you can in Destination, or at least funnel people in one direction, it usually provides some pretty advantageous play. And here we go with a little bit of early scout. It looks like from Yellow. Doing some mild harassment on this SEV that's building this barracks. It's in a very forward position, actually, which is of note. And I think he's going to get this SEV. He does get this SEV. It looks like Tossgirl does have a backup SEV, obviously, but she's losing that one as well. And Yellow is going to be doing all kinds of harassment here early on. She switches out yet another SEV, but it looks like, oh god, another SEV goes down to Yellow. And that is a huge deal, and Tossgirl looking visibly miffed. I mean, you cannot lose. Losing SCVs early as a Terran player, just one of those things that you cannot do. You just cannot afford to lose those units early on, as SCVs are just so crucial. And it looks like this proxy factory, actually, that Tossgirl is building, is scouted by an overlord, so literally everything is going wrong for Tossgirl at this point. She is just finding no luck and can take almost no consolation in herself about anything at all. And you can see some of the disappointment in her face, it looks like. And here come some drones being pulled immediately. And his SCV, now legendary SCV sniping that Yellow has been conducting, is going to only continue. And Tossgirl sending out another SCV, but I mean this is futile, about as futile can be, and that factory is not going to go up. Those drones are going to take it down on their own. It looks like, and it looks like, and Yellow has also managed to safely expand during this time. So really, Tossgirl, I have to say, is in a world of hurt, and sending out more SCVs. So she's sending out additional SCVs to finish this factory. It looks like she is going to finish the factory, but just in time for some lings to show up. So we're going to see how great her Vulture control is. If she has stunning Vulture micro, she may be able to take out these Lings. At this point, she really needs to, because these Lings are headed directly for this factory and are going to wait, basically, for that Vulture to pop out and just start banging away. Here we go, and she sends that Vulture directly to the base of Yellow, it looks like. So she is just en route to make some things happen. She is determined to get back in this game, and maybe she can do some economic harassment and finally get even for some of the damage she was taking earlier. It looks like that Vulture, however, is getting just a small surround by these drones. And Yellow is showing us some fantastic micro. At the meantime, he's got a dual-prong attack. His Zerglings are attacking the barracks. That is the only source of defense that Tossgirl has in her own base. And that Vulture is going to go down to some brilliant drone micro. And it looks like Tossgirl is really on the ropes here, folks. She's just got her barracks lifted off. Has a bunker up, which is going to be very solid for her protection, but really without the ability to produce any additional units, she is going to be hurting. Meanwhile, Yellow has Hydralisk out and on the map, as well as 2 bases. He's really looking quite strong, and at this point, I just don't know that Tossgirl is ever going to be able to recover from the early economic damage. The failed proxy racks. Oh God, I'll lose another Marine. So yeah, she's going to lose her refinery. And I don't know that that's something that she can afford to do. Oh, and she was trying to move the factory into Yellow's base, but it's spotted by yet another Overlord. I mean, this is like Yellow playing with a full map hack. I mean, he's just seen literally every little trick that Tossgirl has tried to get back into this game. He has been on top of all of it. I mean, she's been able to sneak nothing. And when you can tell no secrets to Yellow, you really are in trouble, basically. There's no way that in a straight-up game, I would have to imagine that Tossgirl has any real chance. He does manage to, however, to get this Vulture out, and it's going to do a little bit of harassment, but I just don't see that being enough at this stage of the game to seal it for her. And that Vulture is going to go down. That proxy factory obviously has been located, despite the fact that, oh, yeah, and he's going to come back and go ahead and finish that off. So, for a second there, I thought she managed to disguise the fact that that was still there, but that's definitely not the case. Swapping up to 2 racks, but she's going to lose this factory, and that's pretty much GG. I just don't think that she's going to be able to recover. I think she realizes that once these speed-upgraded Hydralisks come down and start railing on these Marines, that there's not a whole lot of hope for our beloved Tossgirl. And this is just unfortunate. I mean, basically, if she hadn't lost all those SCVs in the beginning, maybe, just maybe, she would have had a shot. These Marines are going to try and combat these Hydralisks moving up the ramp, but speed-upgraded Hydralisks against a mere 6 Marines is not really an ideal matchup. She brings out the SCVs late. She's going to try and use them as a shield. A little intense micro battle going on here, but all those Hydralisks are just, and they're going to continue to stream in. This game couldn't be more over. Sorry, Tossgirl. We appreciate the valiant effort, but this is Yellow, and this game is over. It looks like Tossgirl again in the booth, looking a little bit frustrated. And that's pretty much what it's like to play somebody of the caliber of Yellow. It's frustrating because that's pretty much what's going to happen. GG from Tossgirl. And Yellow dismisses her with relative ease, I would have to say, which again, is not unexpected by any stretch of the imagination. I think that honestly, the ease with which he did it is somewhat surprising, but again, you have a lot of advantages going in for Yellow in this case. Not only the fact that he's probably a better player, but also the fact that he really, I mean, he's been so much more active than Tossgirl has been, and a little bit of confusion there on his face, whether or not he wanted to go over there and maybe console Tossgirl, maybe talk to her, maybe get the digits. You never know, but that is the situation basically. When you have a player that's active, that's been spending time in the booth, it's just going to be exceedingly difficult for somebody that's just been practicing with their team to really equal that. So Yellow, not surprisingly, takes this game, and we'll be moving on. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This has been Weapons Left.